Welcome back, and this is Morris Dimba, and today we want to create the connection in between the rafter and the gable columns. Thereafter, we'll be able to add some members on this structure. Now, since we have our apex in place, and we slightly need to modify this. Now we'll select any part of that, then press letter M, then enter on our keyboard, then we give it some time to respond. Now we'll try to modify this. We'll give it maybe 10 there, maybe 4 by 65 center to center, and we can give it a go ahead like that and try to see how it behaves. So now I'll double click once again and press letter M and enter on my keyboard, and just push it aside, and I'll come to types of punches here. I'll pick horizontal and I'll click apply. So we'll have that in place. So in here, I'm going to further adjust this part, maybe to 10. Let me try that, 10. Give it 20. 20 will be okay. And we'll come here and change this to, we'll change this to 10. To 10 right there, and click OK, and that will be shortened. And in here we need to maybe 65 or 75 will be okay. 75 will be okay, since we will have no collision there. We still have collision. So I'll select any part, press letter M and enter. You can double tap letter M or just press single M and enter, whichever way will be faster for you. Now I'll come here and probably make it 80. 80 will be okay, and click OK, then click enter that. Now if I turn that around like that, I'll be able to add more bolts, though there's some little congestion here on the top here. Select on that, tap letter M and enter on your keyboard, and go back again, tap letter M and enter on the keyboard, and wait for the dialog box to come. And in here we can feed in maybe 50 there. 50 will not work for us. 10 may not. You can just leave it blank like that and apply that. So let me just try to modify that. So that will be okay. So if I come at the bottom end here, slightly there's some sort of collision. Enter that. Change this to 65. 65 and enter that. Slightly that's much better. So always, if you're comfortable with this, remember to save this particular connection as it is now. Let me just turn that around. Let me just pick one, select, let me just select my point of interest and try to turn this around. Let me select that point and try to turn that around, so you can see we have our horns in place. So it's always a good practice if you've created a connection like this, and remember this is our rafter is IPE 220. So we want to save this type of connection. Just select any part, press letter M and enter on your keyboard like that, and give some time to load. Now we'll come to preset here and just click save as, and we just type IPE 220 connection. So I'll go ahead and click apply and load and give it that acceptance. Now we'll do the same the other end by just now going and selecting on that, tap letter M and enter. And once you've done so, just come to preset here, select that, and just drag it slightly aside so that you go ahead and see what you are actually doing. Load it, then click apply, and it will apply those settings right there. Now if we come this far end, we want to create the connection between the rafter and the column. We will use this wind column connection, so we'll select on that gable or rafter and this, so we have that in place. So we'll come here also and do the same and create a connection right there. So this is the connection we want to create on that side. Now we want to apply the same connection here, but since this haunch is not a member, and macro will not be able to detect it as a beam. So if you select it and select on that, there will be no connection created. So what we can do, we can just come here. Once we come here, we'll just select everything there, right click and select on that, and we want to copy this. And to copy this, we'll make sure we have our, let me select on that first, and I want to explode this member. So if I explode it, I'll be able to carry it along very well and very easy. So I'll select everything, exclude that, and I want to right click and come to copy, and I want to copy it from that snap and take it all the way to this similar snap here. So I'll close this and wait and see whether it will respond. It's not responding, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to just double click on it, tap letter M, and we want to adjust the plate thickness here. Come here and change this plate to 10 and that to 10 millimeter, and we adjust that. Also the same here, just select on that, double tap letter M, and just press M only, and enter that at 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and we'll apply that. So if I come here and maybe disable my macro like that, and then enable it back, or I can just select everything and try to isolate that and delete that and try to create a connection right like that. Select on that and select on this to see connection. So let me just select that member, tap letter M, enter, and try to modify it further. So I'll try to reverse this with the end so that I see to make my macro visible. So if I switch it back and click enter that, I will not be able to see it clearly. So I'll try to copy it on the other end. Let me just try copy it the other end to apply that, and now tap letter M and enter, and change the plate thickness here to 10 like that, and enter that. So this one is okay, and we can go ahead and copy this or explode. I'll come to that spot and come here and explode that. So if I select everything here now, if I select everything here and leave out that, I'll be able to select right click and pick it from this position here, from that position, and take it all the way to this far end here and snap at the corner here. So if I close this, I'll be able to see what I've just created here. So let me just click on that and see. Though we have some little bit of collision, and we can simply modify that. Let me just hide the part which I don't want to see, like that. We can also mirror this the other end, or let's just modify this as it is now. I'll come here and come to cut, and I want to fit this plate. So I'll select the plate and select the fitting surface, maybe that. And it's not fitting well. It is not fitting well. Let me just undo that. Right click and undo that once again. Undo that. So show all to, we go back where we were, and if I enable these connections, because what I want to pick is the macro. Let me just first of all come here and then do that and select on that, tap letter M, enter, then I'll switch back to the reverse end, select on that. So once that has been done, I'm going to select this member. I'm going to explode this member. I'll come to explode and explode that member. So once again, I'm going to select everything here, exclude whatever I don't want to see, right click and come to copy here and pick on this column here. And pick on that connection from that spot. Then zoom out, and I want to snap on a similar location as it was the other end. I'll close this. So if I come here, try to hide that section, here. Now I want to fit this plate here. Let me just close that. So there's some bit of collision. You can see this plate is passing through the bottom plate of our haunch, and you want to trim that to flush with the bottom end of this plate. So we'll come to cut here and cut. We want to fit this. I'll select the part to fit. I'll select on that, then select the bottom end of this particular plate, and that's it. This symbol is this one here, and I don't want to show it. I can just hide it. Can just hide it, or you can just leave it where it is. If I interrupt that, if I come here, I'll be able to see I have this. First of all, hide that because it's extremely blocking us. Now, if I come here, you can see there's a slight chamfer, and we want to fit this also. So I'd select on it, then select on that section, and come to this option, move to the surface. I want to move it to this surface, so I'll select this surface to move it up. Then I'll close that. So we have created a connection like that. Now, if I right click and come to show all, I'll be able to have this in place. If I hide that, I want to hide these connections here. I want to hide that. I want to hide that. So that one is hidden. Now, if we come here, let me hide that. If you come here and place a connection here, so we can as well remove this. We can as well remove this and maybe just press delete. If you press delete there, we'll be able to select all these members. We'll select all these members and isolate the part we don't want to see. Select and isolate that. Select and isolate the part we don't want to see to move the other end, and bolts also we don't want to carry on. We don't want to carry along the bolts. Now I'll right click and come to spatial copy and pick on that spot, and I want to snap on that bottom end and move all the way to this far end here. So if I snap here, I'll be able to transfer the columns plus the connections. Let me just zoom out so that you will be able to see that. So if I click copy, I'll have my columns with connection in place. So that's how I've done it. So the first thing you should not forget is to save your work. I'll click that and save. So the next thing, I'll place the base plates. So the base plates, I'll come to base plates here and pick the base and try place my base plates right there, like that. Perfect. So I'll do the same the other end, but we can apply the same on the other end by just selecting on this member and come to clone all. If you come to clone, click on clone all and proceed. And if you proceed, you'll find the connection already done here. That's how simple it is with Causes. Now, let's meet on the next presentation as we move further with detailing of this particular structure. Remember, we avoided using truss at the gable sides of this because of the complications on how we can place the cladding, because the cladding will need some columns to suspend or to hold the clad rails, where the clad rails will be the unsheet will be anchored on the cladding rail. So we got rid of the trusses at the ends here, and here, and we replace that with the bottom frame. Now let's meet on the next presentation. This is Morris Limba, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more learning lessons.